Not worth us really doing introductions, maybe? Well, we're live, by the way, right now.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You better do your
Yep.
signature talking.
What do you mean signature talking?
There's no words on it.
Oh, there's no words on it. What do you mean?
Check
Do it
out
live.
check out the background picture.
Let me get on.
That's
La
a
la la
terrible
la.
background.
Oh, I went on Oddpod, not Champion Gaming. There we go. Should be here. Mm-hmm. Wow. So, is this Oddpod just about, what's it called?
It's about yeah.
Bashing the Wii
No,
and how
not,
bad it is.
not at all. Not at all. It's just about consoles and video games in general, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but the Wii is a pretty bad console.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got I've got an opinion on it, which is kind of why I posted that picture there.
Look,
Just to let everybody know, Zido is away tonight, and so is Bradley. So it's just the five of us tonight, just in case anybody's wondering.
But Bradley might show up at some point. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if he jumps in, cool. Otherwise, we will carry on, regardless.
I don't understand. He said he liked it and he would like to join, but I guess you can't really say anything about it if he can't make it or something like that.
Yeah, he might be working, but so anyway, the topic, as I've already said, is consoles or gaming, PC gaming in general. What's your favourite and why? So who wants to start it off? Is Hawk there?
Hawk said he'll talk in 1 minute, so somebody have a stopwatch. We can count it down. I guess we're going to start off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say PC gaming would be, because I think PC gaming at the later 2009 went through a phase where it almost died, because when I used to always, because I was a console gamer then, used to always go through the stores like GameStop and I would never see a PC game, but that's, I guess with the release of big titles like Battlefield and Diablo, that's picking back up. But what's it called now? I just prefer PC gaming because I guess the graphics, the games just run a lot smoother in general, because on consoles usually they're capped at 30 frames, but on PC I guess you can get unlimited frames in it. If you know me, I can't play on anything below 60. I hate it. I absolutely despise
You
30.
snob.
I need to play 60 I need to have 60 frames, or I'll probably just shoot myself. But
Alright.
that's just me.
If you had to pick a console, then other than the PC, what would be your favourite?
Xbox, because the PS3 controller is too small. Don't make fun of me. That's rude. Because the PS3 controllers are too small for my hands, and I just don't like the feel of them. So I play Xbox because it's a better console. Probably got someone angry. I think Jackstraw's here. Probably got him angry. Then just gonna greet you. Hello, Jackstraw.
Who wants to go next?
Evader?
Evader, Law?
Well,
Do we have an
can say
audience right
that-
now? The chat's not running for me.
Yeah, we are. We have
do.
it.
We do. Yeah.
I don't see it either. But okay, sorry, Evader.
I would say I probably played more console games in my time, even though I think PC. I think it wasn't that the PC kind of died off, but I think it was kind of that there were so many games developed for the consoles, and with all the consoles coming out, combating PC and gaming. So you had like Wii, you had like PS3, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360. There's so much coming out. It's that PC kind of got a little phased out, and a lot of devs were focusing on the console gaming. So, at kind of back in the time, back in 2009 or so, there were a lot of big titles. I think it was like
Modern Warfare 2.
not just Modern Warfare 2, but even like back when there was Halo 3 and all that coming out. So there was a lot of attraction, and so I was playing pretty much until last year. So mostly like consoles, and I pretty much last year was playing all PC, and then I occasionally go back, but Battlefield, I think I had a huge phase of Battlefield like years ago. So with Battlefield 3 coming out, Battlefield's always been a huge title on the PC. I'd say it's always been better on the PC.
Yeah.
And playing it on the console is nothing compared to playing Battlefield on the PC. It's just PC is so much better, I'd say.
Well, you can't really say so much better. It's always like a matter of opinion, but it is better if you're a FPS snob like me.
You can't say it's better because that's an opinion, but it is better.
I
love the contradiction.
Sorry. I mean, you can't. Okay, never mind. I'm just never mind. I guess I just started. I got attached to PC games after my Steam library expanded to 114 games, and then I guess Steam has an addiction. I'm addicted to Steam. I can say that because those bastards every single month they have a Steam sale where everything's about 80% off, and I just tend to buy there. So I throw my money at Steam every month.
You can throw it at me.
But you're not Steam, so no, I'm good with that.
You just see Funky's Skype name changed to Steam.
CGN Steam. Well, no, and I wouldn't really want that.
So, do you have, I'm assuming you do, and I think I know what you're going to say, but do you have a favorite console, Evader, and why?
I think you would have to go based off the generations of consoles, because when young, I was in the Game Boy, and then I went from PlayStation. PlayStation 2 was big for me, and then I jumped to the 360. So, I would say 360, in terms of the modern era, would be the better console. I'd say for PS3, but the community management and so many the games out there, and just like the indie games they even have available on and Minecraft came out in the last few weeks. I heard it was a lot easier to port over into Minecraft onto Xbox than it is to PS3, even though I think Microsoft has the rights to it, so it can be developed on PS3. And then, I don't know if anybody ever played it, but there was this huge online game where there was hundreds of thousands of people playing every evening, but it was called
PlanetSide.
It was 1 versus 100. They had it on running a couple years back.
Yeah, 1 versus 100. Yeah.
It's like a contest, like a quiz show, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you could win Xbox gamer points if you...
I remember that there's two things. I remember playing it, and this guy was just about to win 10,000 gamer points. He was, I don't know, it was 8,000 before, and he's like, I'm gonna keep going. He was getting everything right. Last question, he gets it wrong and loses everything, and I should have laughed. And I did get into the 100 once.
Yeah, I was too. I was in it.
But I got out of the 100 because when everybody was tense and looking at the answer, and I was the only one out of the 100 dancing in the crowd. I just got booted out, and I was sad.
You could get pretty. I mean, I got far with it once. And if you have somebody with you playing the game, I mean, they could always write up the question into Google and see if you can get the right answer.
Yeah.
Cheating, turds. What about you, Law?
I've never owned a good enough rig to play PC really well. I definitely have to choose consoles.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I recall as a kid, I was a really big handheld guy, if that counts as a console.
Yeah.
I guess
I think so.
It should count. If it doesn't, then well, yeah, then it doesn't.
Yeah, I played a ton of Game Boy. But let's see, favorite console. I think I'm a PlayStation man, but there's a special place in my heart for the GameCube.
Do you have it? Because the only thing that I remember about the GameCube is that it had really, really small discs.
Yeah, I do have a GameCube.
That's pretty awesome.
I like it because even after all this time, it still holds up better than the Wii. I can play all of its games and not hate myself.
I guess Hawk's still not here with us, is he?
I don't know if he's here or not.
I'm gonna take that as a no. So,
Yeah, I think he's dead. I know he's typing in the chat, but not
Okay.
talking right now.
alrighty.
Right.
Okay, what have I got to say about this? Basically, I think there's a place for both. I mean, for any people who saw my setup video, you can see that I've got a shit ton of Xbox games, Xbox 360 games. And whilst I do agree that the PC plays the games a lot better, you know, much better quality graphics, a lot smoother. Plus, there's beyond that as well. You've got things like mods, especially if you're into games like Skyrim. You know, there's hundreds of mods available for that on a PC. But you know, if you're on Xbox or PS3 or whatever, you're pretty much shit out of luck in that respect. But a brief history of my my console youth. And I think the first console that my parents bought me was a Sega Master System. I'm thinking some of the guys in this call probably have no idea what that is. It's probably before your time. I think it came out in 1985, I think, in US.
Super Nintendo?
Anyway. Well, I had the Master System originally, and then my parents bought me, well, me and my sister, I should say, a second-hand Super Nintendo that came with, like, the huge Super Scope thing that it came with. It was like a
Oh, that
an
thing that
RPG thing. Yeah, I mean,
I had that in my basement.
looking back at it, it was a piece of shit, but you know, it was fun at the time. But I was definitely a Sega boy, as opposed to Nintendo. And after the Super Nintendo, I had a Mega Drive, or a Genesis, as they call it in the States. My parents also bought me a Game Gear with a TV tuner one Christmas. And that was
Gear.
Yeah, the Sega Game Gear.
I know what it is, but
Yeah, and you could get this attachment for it, which was basically a TV tuner that just slots in the back with an aerial, and you know, just picked up like 4 TV stations. It was rubbish, but it was brilliant at the time. I've still got it. And yeah, after that, I kind of stopped playing consoles quite a lot. I did at one point have a PlayStation, and I used to love playing snowboarding games on it, so much so that I bought like this snowboard controller thing. But after that, I think my next console after that was I bought a Sega Dreamcast when it first came out, because it was supposed to be the shit. And to be fair, it was really
good.
It was a really good console. It's just it wasn't enough of a market there to keep it going. The games that did come out on it were brilliant, really good, like Crazy Taxi, stuff like that. Really good games.
But then they had to port the shitty version of Crazy Taxi onto Facebook.
That's a piece. Yeah, they did.
I think it was renamed like Insane Taxi.
No, it was still Crazy Taxi.
No, Crazy Cabby. They renamed it.
Oh yeah, whatever it was called. It was similar. It was.
Sorry, we interrupted.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I think my favorite and my most played game on the Dreamcast though was Sega Bass Fishing, and it came with like a fishing pole peripheral, and you had to like put reel a line in and pull it back and stuff. I used to play the shit out of that. My girlfriend liked that as well at the time, which is kind of weird, I think, for a girl, but there you go. And after the Dreamcast, I didn't buy a console for probably, I don't know, like 5-10 years. I mean, the next console I bought was the 360, and it was kind of an impulse buy, but I never regretted it. And another impulse buy then, I was in work one day, and I don't know what my train of thought was, but I decided I wanted to buy a PlayStation 3. I went to the store and I paid £400 for it, which
400.
Yeah, this is when they first came out. They were really expensive. So that's like, I don't know, $650. It came with Oblivion, which was one of my favorite games from the Xbox anyway, and from the PC. And Resistance, Fall of Man, I think I had with it as well.
The very first one, right?
I think so, yeah. But I regretted it like a week after buying it, and the existence of my PlayStation then basically became a very, very expensive paperweight. But going back to what I was saying about, this whole PC versus console thing, like I said, I think they both have their place, because what you've got to remember is, yes, undoubtedly a good PC will play a game 10 times better than a console will.
Mhm.
But you also have to spend 10 times the amount of money getting a PC that will play it. So you know, you've got to look at the fact that you could go and pick up an Xbox 360 for like £100, $150, whatever, you know, whatever they are right now.
Yeah.
Whereas to get a PC that will play the same games, you'd have to spend, you know, closer to $1,000, or, you know, £500-600 or something like that. You know, a lot more. But there is also then the games tend to be a little bit cheaper on the PC, and you do have like the whole modding aspect and community aspect, where you get, you know, a lot of mods and stuff for it.
That, and a lot of, except for the occasional patch fix for consoles, the developers for PC
Yeah.
games listen more, I would say.
And
Unless you're EA, let's just say EA does not listen. They don't really care about us. That's
Yeah.
and that because you can tell them anything.
I'm not too happy with EA games, to be honest with you.
Just for another example, because Battlefield 3, EA distributes it, and I don't like it that they made it that you can only buy it on Origin, which, because I thought you would be able to get it on Steam. They made it only for Origin, and their support, I mean, there's, I don't know, can you call them hotlines on the internet? I don't think you can, but they're just support staff is, they don't really care at all. Because I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, my account was lost. I don't know why. My password was changed. I emailed them to reset my password, and it took about 2 weeks. I'm still waiting for it. It took about 2 weeks taking about 2 weeks for me to get my password back, because they're not answering. But I guess every developer is different, or every developer staff, I would say.
I've had a sour taste in my mouth with EA for a little while. When I was really into my Xbox, like I kind of stopped playing my Xbox about a year ago, and I haven't really played it all that much since. But when I was really big into it, I was an achievement whore. I loved getting Xbox achievements. And I would make it my mission to get all the achievements in a game. I didn't feel like I'd completed the game until I had all the achievements. And I bought an EA game at the time called Army of Two.
I have it.
It was the second one, Army of Two.
The 40th day.
Yeah, and it was bugged as shit. All the achievements were broken, and that pissed the shit out of me because I was an achievement whore. And basically EA said, we don't care, we're not fixing it. And yeah, that annoyed me a little.
I still have it, and it was really buggy when I used to play it. I mean, a lot. You just sort of twitch around the place sometimes
It was
when you
really
get behind
laggy.
cover.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
As far as my favorite console, I'm gonna have to say Xbox 360, and I think I think I can make a reasonably impartial opinion or viewpoint on this because I've owned both of them. To me, there was no game on the PlayStation 3 that I wanted to play that I couldn't play on the Xbox 360. Now I know you know the first thing like the PS3 kind of fanboys jump to is, oh, PlayStation whatever it's called network is free. It is free, but in comparison to Xbox Live, it's also shit. So I don't mind paying the extra £30 a year, you know, which is like nothing really in the grand scheme of things, for an online service that is second to none. Little Big Planet, you know, it looks like an interesting game, One Dark, and a fun game, but it's not enough for me to go out and buy a PlayStation just to play Little Big Planet.
A lot of the PS3 people that get defensive when I talk to them, they always bring up the fact that Killzone is one of the best games and that it's not available on anything. But I played Killzone and I don't really like it. I mean, then they made that soppy gimmick with the motion controls for Killzone 3. I tried it. I kind of just spun in circles for a little bit and then turned it off because I couldn't really control it. Resistance, God of War is good. I like God of War. I don't know about Resistance. I haven't played it yet. Did anybody here play Resist? I know you did, but did you play the second Resistance, Funky?
No, I didn't.
But it did. Out of experience, is the second one good? I mean, the first one. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a decent game for sure. I mean, I enjoyed playing the game, and that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. There's nothing wrong with the games, but there was just no appeal for me there. I mean, you know, when you compare, at least at the time, I think it's important to say as well that I think that exclusive titles are going to be are going to become a thing of the past at some point. You know, you've got people like Valve, for example, with the Left 4 Dead games, which were Xbox and obviously PC exclusives. You know, and I can't remember, Gabe Newell, the CEO or whatever of Valve,
yeah,
said he would not touch a PlayStation ever. He despised them, and every interview that he had, he basically had a jibe at the PlayStation to say how shit they are. Now, I'm not saying that that's true, but what I'm trying to point out is that that's not the case anymore. I mean, they released Portal on the PlayStation 3. I think the producers and stuff are starting to realize that if they want to, cash in, they can't really afford to limit their audience by having exclusives. I think the only console that will have exclusives in the long run will be the Wii, because Nintendo's weird like that. They create a lot of their games in-house, and quite frankly they can keep them, from what I've seen. So yeah, I think, certainly, in my opinion, the Xbox 360 has had a far stronger title lineup than the PlayStation 3 has, but I think that will change, and I think exclusives will start to become a thing of the past.
As an example, you could just take the Metal Gear is coming onto Xbox, so I guess that's just an example for exclusives being a game of the past. I don't know about Halo, if they're gonna keep it on the whatever it's called.
That will never leave the Xbox, simply because Microsoft own the rights to it.
Oh yeah, and Microsoft are greedy.
Well, I mean, Sony do the same thing. I mean, it's good business to have exclusives because, One Dark's throwing out a few games there, like Gran Turismo, Metal Gear Solid, and this is the point I'm trying to say. I'm not saying there are no good games on the PlayStation 3. There are, definitely. But the type of games that I play, and I think a lot of people play, the Xbox has a much better catalogue. I mean, like, if you look at the Gears of War franchise, the amount of Xboxes that one game alone sold is insane.
Yeah.
And it was for a good reason, because it's an awesome game. I played the crap out of those games. Yes, okay, the PlayStation 3 does have a Blu-ray player, but it's a very expensive Blu-ray player, if that's all you're going to use it for. And, a lot of the consoles, Xbox included, they're trying to become this media hub, the center of your living room where, you can do movies, music, games.
Yeah.
As far as the movies and music's concerned, doesn't really appeal to me all that much, but I do see where they're coming from. It's kind of a, one thing does everything type of solution, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I guess the thing that annoyed me about most consoles is that they all had to cash in on the motion control gimmicks. I mean, the Wii did it first. That's what they did. That's all I have to say. But then I guess PS3 and Xbox had to cash in on it too, which kind of annoyed me, because you don't really need the PlayStation Move or the Kinect. It's fun if you have a family, but other than that, I wouldn't really use it.
Yeah.
It's adaptive. It's adaptive marketing. Pretty much what happened is the Wii had it as their original thing, and their whole console's based around that pretty much, right? So they were getting that side of the market, people purchasing it for, the games and the exercise and the movements, right? So then it came to the point where Xbox and PS3 wanted to cash in on that too, and since they have a very very popular product when it comes to consoles, they made their own thing so that they could pretty much steal all the interest going into the Wii, and pretty much just had this. So it's like, okay, you've got an Xbox 360 plus the ability to have a Wii ability on the 360, then why do you need Wii at all when the graphics are pretty much obsolete, you know?
I'd have to disagree slightly with that. I understand what you're saying. I mean, basically, you know, Microsoft and Sony saw this huge market that you know, the Nintendo Wii was cutting into, that they, I'm assuming, didn't even know existed, and they wanted a slice of that pie. So they wanted to come up with their own gimmicks, if you like, to try and, you know, get some of that market back onto their you know, into their customer base. Now, the only thing I would say, I think they're both gimmicks, and I wouldn't buy either of them. You know, they don't appeal to my type of gameplay. I can't imagine using the, you know, the PlayStation Wand or whatever the hell it's called, the Move thing, or the Kinect. But what I will say is that I do think, you know, that as far as the PlayStation Move is concerned, yes, it's probably you know, superior in terms of technology to the Wii controller, but it's not really that innovative. Whereas, to be fair, the Xbox Kinect is an innovative piece of technology. You know, it's completely different in that sense to the Wiimote and the PlayStation Move.
Yeah.
You know, it is, you know, all I'm saying is you've got to give them some props for trying to be different. And, you know, it's a far more advanced piece of technology. I mean, if you're going to talk about the Wii, I mean, I've never had one, so you know, I've played one briefly. My my sister's kids have one, and I think that, you know, they're fun little things for children. Pretty much everybody, like in work, a bunch of people I was working with bought them, and pretty much everybody that I've spoken to said that they played them for a couple of days, lost interest, and haven't played them since. They, you know, they are very family orientated, very, you know, child orientated. So, you know, for the serious gamer, I mean, it is basically, you know, technologically, it's just a GameCube. It's you know, there's nothing. Oh, did the call drop? One sec, guys. We're experiencing technical difficulties. What happened there? Did Milk drop or something?
Yeah.
Yes, Milk died.
Milk died. There you go. Blame Milk, everybody. It's Milk's fault. I can't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, I was just saying basically that the Wii is essentially a GameCube with a Power Glove, a slightly more advanced Power Glove, but a Power Glove nonetheless. So yeah, that, I mean, that never appealed to me. It was more, you know, of a children's system in my eyes. But that's all I was gonna say.
Coming from someone who liked the GameCube, I feel like the Wii put another step between me and gaming, which is something I didn't like. I don't care for the Wii's motion control. It just changes it too much.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of controllers. I even, depending on the game, you know, not a first-person shooter if I'm playing on a PC, but like Fallout, I've been playing a lot of that on my PC recently, and I use my Xbox controller to play that. Some games just feel better with a controller, in my opinion. And from my limited experience of using a Wii, I found it very awkward.
It is very awkward. Another thing I don't like much is that, in my opinion, any of the good games I've ever played on the Wii, you could play with GameCube controllers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that the Wiimote, it gets in the way.
Yeah, although, you know, although the system doesn't appeal to me, you know, again, you've got to give credit to Nintendo for essentially releasing a system that was way past its time. I mean, the thing doesn't even play DVD movies, for God's sake. And absolutely cashing in on it. I mean, they you know, they beat the Xbox and the PlayStation, you know, completely annihilated them for the longest time. I don't think I think those numbers are kind of smaller than they were, but they made a killing off the Wii, and I think there's a new one out. I don't know much about it because I'm not interested in it. God, it's getting tongue-tied. I just haven't followed it that much, but I think there's either another one coming out or they're announcing one maybe at E3 this year. But yeah, that's my little jibe at the Wii on the background image there.
Where I feel Nintendo fails is in its third-party releases. It's got so many third-party releases, and they're all terrible.
Yeah, I mean, when the NES came out, Nintendo, I mean, they put like security chips on their cartridges to stop people releasing them, but I mean, it didn't take them long to bypass them, as with kind of everything. But well, Haku and Milk, I guess their internet's died or something.
Hawk was having some sort of software issues. I don't know what was going on there.
Okay.
God, the nukes have been dropped on all of Europe. Oh wait, no, Funky's still here.
Okay, well, I mean, if they come back, we can get them to answer later, but there's a question here, which is, if you could choose one game to be revitalized, what would it be? So, you know, if there's a game that you enjoyed from your youth or years of, you know, in the past, essentially, that they haven't released a sequel to, you know, which one would you choose?
Oh, I don't know. There are a lot of good PS2 games that I've played that I'd like the companies to continue, but I think I'll go older than that and say Battletoads. Anyone else remember Battletoads?
I just remember the crazy music of the pause screen.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember playing it because I was never really a Nintendo person. Half-Life
I had an NES for a long time.
Mhm.
I never did get a
one.
Super Nintendo.
I wanted an NES, but my parents, you know, I'm grateful for what they bought me, but they always used to kind of buy me Sega stuff.
I had a Genesis. I used to play the hell out of Disney's The Lion King for some reason. It's like the only game I can remember. That and Sonic the Hedgehog.
I remember two games from my Sega kind of years, and they weren't on the same platform. One was, I think, on the Genesis or Mega Drive, and one was on the Game Gear. And the Game Gear game was, it was Scrooge and his, you know, his nephews, Huey, Dewey, Louie, I think.
DuckTales.
Yes, DuckTales. Yes,
Yeah.
DuckTales on the Game Gear. And there was also on the Genesis a Mickey Mouse game. I think it was that. Is it? I don't know. He had like a sorcerer's hat on. I don't know what that was, but it was a Mickey Mouse game, and those games really stuck out. Does anybody? This might be before everybody's time, but does anybody remember a game called RoboCod?
Was it about a fish?
Yeah, it was called RoboCod James Pond.
James Pond.
James Pond, yeah. That was awesome games. I used to love that series. So Battletoads for you. What about you, Aveda?
I will, you know, my favorite gaming series is Ace Combat. On the PS2, the original ones, I mean, the first one was when it was Ace Combat 4, which was released in 2001, and there were about 3 more released in the PS2, and those things, if they got they got ported over onto, say, the 360, I mean, it was crazy, because the only reason I actually got 360 was because Ace Combat was going from PS2 to Xbox 360, so the whole fan base pretty much flipped out because they were wondering, well, why isn't it going to the PS3 or in general to either PS3 or 360? And so I was the only reason why I got the 360, and then from that I started playing games like Call of Duty. I got into Halo a bit. Not really. Halo kind of sucked. But
Yeah.
Don't let Doc hear you say that.
I hope she's here. I'm kidding.
I don't think she
I
is.
played the hell out of Halo when it first came out.
So did
just
I.
that it was the only Xbox thing that anyone where I live played.
And yeah, I apologize for the call dropping. My internet went out. My entire city had like a really quick blackout, but it's gone.
Unacceptable.
Oh, see, they did drop the nukes on Europe. I knew it.
Yep, they did. Yep, I'm gonna die in a few seconds.
The
What
question
I'm
you
telling you
missed, Mark, was if you could choose a game to be revitalized, what would it be? So like a game that hasn't had a sequel that you'd like to play.
I wish for that one game, but they're already doing it, so my wish is true. It's PlanetSide.
Okay, you have to
Anybody
pick
ever
another
heard of
then.
that? Oh, sad face. Let me think for a second. I don't actually know. Revitalize, which game? They already revitalized GoldenEye, so I don't really need to have that revitalized.
When it's
I
y-
can't-
like
I
a
can't-
just restarting, bringing out a sequel or whatever.
I want them to bring out Half-Life 2 Episode 3, but Valve can't really count correctly ever. They can only.
Aren't they working on that though? But it's been in the works for years.
It's. I hope it's. I don't hope, or I don't want it to be another Duke Nukem Forever. If you think about
Yeah,
it,
that game
that's
was
been
a
in-
pile of shit. It was terrible.
I wanted to get it, but then no, I'm not gonna get it. And then I was lucky because I watched a playthrough. I don't know who played it, and I just thought, wow, you get to throw shit around in a toilet and shoot aliens, but that's about it. I loved Duke Nukem 3D on the N64. That was an awesome game, but that's about it. Yeah, but if I think, yeah, just I wish for Half-Life 2 Episode 3 or Left 4 Dead 3, but that's another Valve game.
Yeah, and Left 4 Dead 3 will probably be coming. But yeah, Half-Life 3 is one that's One Dark said that as well for Half-Life 3. I don't think I could pick any one game that I'd want to be revitalized. I can tell you what genre of game. I love point-and-click adventures like the old LucasArts games, like Monkey Island, Day of the Tentacle, Sam and Max. I don't know if you guys played any of those kind of games.
I played Sam and Max.
I have a copy of Monkey Island.
Yeah, and there aren't any of those type of games. Like they did a few Monkey Islands. There was 2 good ones, and then they started, times are changing. They started moving into like the 3D kind of animated kind of situation, and it just didn't feel the same. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis was another one I loved from LucasArts.
I never played it. I never even knew it existed.
They were really funny because they released them in 2 formats. You could get like one that came on like 2 or 3 discs, which didn't have any talking in it, and then later on they released a game on a CD-ROM which had full speech on it. Otherwise you just had subtitles, because back in those days you run the games from DOS. There was no Windows. But yeah, I'd probably it's one of those games like Monkey Island or Indiana Jones or Sam and Max or something like that I'd pick.
That, and if I look at my huge Steam library right now, I'd want them to have another Knights of the Old Republic. I already know they had a second one, but the second one was, for me, it wasn't good enough, because the story. I mean, the first one took place 4,000 years before before Episode 4, and I don't know what happened, but the second one I think took place 1,000 years before the first Knights of the Old Republic, and I never understood it. So I would want them, because I was happy to find out that they were making Star Wars: The Old Republic, but it's an MMORPG, and I hate MMORPGs like that. Because I never got into Warcraft. I just want them to make like a sole successor to Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, which is a single-player role-playing game and not anything that has to require online to play it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested because I'm a big Bethesda fan, so I love the Elder Scrolls series, the Fallout series, and I understand that they're the next Fallout game is supposed to be MMO.
Yeah.
And I think that would be kind of cool. It depends how they do it, but if you imagine, I mean, the Fallout world is obviously massive. There's there's loads of quests and stuff you can do, but how epic some of those quests or missions could be if they required 3 or 4 of your friends to get together to complete them. Kind of like Borderlands in that respect. I think that's why I like Borderlands so much.
That's a game I can't wait for. Is Borderlands 2.
Yeah, definitely.
I just like their trailers. 87 bajillion more guns, and then I like 80% more. I think wub, but that's about it.
I'd say the old Spyro games should have been remade.
I've never heard of them. Explain.
Spyro?
Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah.
he's a
Oh, I thought you said spiral. I didn't
No.
understand what you meant by spiral.
Yeah, I don't have much experience with them.
Neither do I.
It was a classic series. Apparently, it went down eventually after it was given over from Insomniac Games in like 2000. And the original ones on the PlayStation were actually really good and took a long time to actually be like you could get through. So there's a lot in the game to like have motivation towards. And I think that one thing that would make me mad was the fact that they never fully made a Star Wars Battlefront 3. That makes me mad. Because apparently it was in dev, but they never got to making it.
They had a trailer and they never,
Yeah.
they never got to making it.
Kind of sad. Because I was playing those a lot. Like ages on ages.
I love Battlefront 2. I like the space battles, but I am sad that they never continued it. But then there's the modding community there. I mean, there's graphical updates, and then, yeah, that's why I like the PC, because the communities are just as huge, and if you mod on the console, you'll get banned.
Yeah, I have to agree that is something the PCs have over. Like for Skyrim, for example, any of the things that are broken in the game that Bethesda's not going to fix, you know there's some super dedicated guy out there that's fixing it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like every misplaced rock, he's going to move it and put it back.
Yeah, and I like how, like the companies like Bethesda and stuff, I mean, they actually released Skyrim and Oblivion with, modding packs. So, the software to actually create the mods was released with the game.
Yeah,
so
they're encouraging it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got about, 15-20 minutes left. Now, we don't have too many people watching tonight, but does anybody want to ask us anything game-related? Hopefully, we can get a couple of questions. Game, console, PC-related, whatever.
Yep, anything.
So,
I'm not
anybody
looking at
know
the
what
chat.
happened to Hawk? It's just his computer broke, basically. It blew up.
I think he's still online, maybe, because he said his stuff didn't work. He couldn't hear anything, so maybe he left. I guess we'll just have to ask him after. So
Fair
wait,
enough.
is there anyone asking?
Nothing right now, but then we don't have too many people tonight, unfortunately. One Dark's
Dark
linking something.
Explain.
Oh, I saw this yesterday. That's not game related.
Oh,
That's a parrot saying, "What the fuck?"
I think it is.
It's a cussing parrot.
It's a parrot with Tourette's. You'll have to say that. He was born with the sickness, and that's just about all you can do. Can't really say anything about that. Right.
All
Was
right.
there anything else?
If Nova just asked a question, if you were gonna make a game, what genre would you make it?
I mean, I've been playing DayZ, so basically a single player version of it, because DayZ, if anybody doesn't know it, let me find you guys a video.
It's the Arma 2 mod, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Arma
Yeah.
2 mod, where you're basically in an environment, and you have to just survive. That's all you need to do. This is the one, I think.
I've watched
Yep.
I've watched a few videos on it, and I think it'd be kind of tough. Like I read the average life
There you go.
expectancy for a new player is 30 minutes.
That is because a lot of people don't know what to do. It's a stealth-based game because
Yeah.
you can't just run in and shoot. You start with a pretty shitty pistol with a few mags, some water and some food, and you gotta scavenge, but you gotta play it smart. Because most of the people die within 30 minutes because they usually run full sprint into a town and get surrounded by zombies or get cornered by bandits and get all their stuff taken away. But if you're like, I wouldn't say like me because I'm pretty stupid in the game sometimes too, and you just have to sneak around and be stealthy because it has one of the best stealth systems I think I've heard, and I would make that kind of game into a game itself because single player would be pretty awesome too, where you have to follow a storyline. But it is a pretty huge map if you think about it. 225 square kilometers, like real life, is pretty big for a game.
Yeah.
So that's what I would make into a game. And that genre, I don't know what it would be. Survival horror, like a big survival horror.
It's kind of a little bit of an MMO element in it as well, though. Really, isn't it? Kind of.
Well, kind of. It's not login. You could. There is a mod for the mod that you can play it offline, but I haven't gotten to download that yet. But you could say it's MMO, but I mean, it's not. You don't have to play it online.
Okay. Alright, so I don't really know how to classify that, but I know the type of game. Would you put it in kind of the same category as games like maybe Dead Island?
Yeah, and Fallout, I would say, because
yeah. Well, no, I mean to me,
world aspect, I guess.
To me, for it to be an RPG, there's got to be a class and leveling based system. That's this opinion, but
I think it's more so that it's in the Fallout setting. It's not in the Fallout game type.
Yeah, like a apocalypse kind of end of the world setting.
Yeah.
Cool.
What game would you make, or if you could make any game? Fuggy.
Definitely RPG. RPGs are my favorite genre. I do like playing different types of games. You know, it depends what mood I'm in. You know, I do enjoy first person, you know, linear first person shooters like Call of Duty and stuff as well. But RPGs are definitely my favorite, and you know, I get lost playing them. Not physically lost. The time I lose time playing them. You know, like Oblivion. I spent probably about 150 hours playing. Same for Skyrim and Fallout. I've just done just this past couple of weeks. Actually, did another playthrough of Fallout, including every mission and every DLC add-on. Just because you know, I just love those type of games so much, where there's, you know, your character is there for you to define, and you know, there's no set path to follow.
Yeah.
You're definitely like a Western RPG person.
The thing you gotta,
absolutely, yeah.
What do you have to think about though? Because that happened to Bradley. The music, he got that in Dead Space as well. He gets a lot of copyright notices for the music in Fallout and in Dead Space. You're not doing Dead Space, but just
it's because they're real songs.
Yeah, because you got 1 to 3 copyright notices. Just I don't know, from obscure companies that I don't know what their names are.
Well, no, I mean he showed me that he got a copyright notice because it was because Fallout uses songs by real world artists.
Yeah, actual
actual musical art, you know, you know, singers or bands or whatever you want to call them. You know, so their record labels, you know, are looking out for that kind of stuff on YouTube. If he were a partner, it wouldn't be a problem. But because he's not, they don't allow it. But yeah, just to mention what you'd said about with regards to Western RPGs, definitely. Japanese RPGs don't do it for me at all. But
I don't understand them half the time.
In fairness, the only one that I can recall playing is Final Fantasy.
Which one? 43?
Shitty one that came out on the Xbox 360. 12 is it or something? I don't know.
The PlayStation 2 ones were probably the best ones.
I don't like the well, I mean, I don't know if all Final Fantasy games are like this, but they were linear. There was a path to follow, and every now and again you'd have a random enemy to kill, and that to me was so boring. And the scripted fighting as well.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like, the difference between Western and Eastern RPGs is that the Eastern ones are telling a story for you, and the Western ones you're sort of telling your own story.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's probably a good way.
I don't know how much money I would give for a role-playing game in set in like the kind of theme of the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you what was his name? the guy from Gran Torino. I totally forgot the actor's name.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood, yeah. Clint
Who's
Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood of all people?
Hey, man.
I've always joked in work that somebody needs to make a medieval style FPS game, archery, swords, trebuchets, that type of thing.
That it does exist in a way. Mountain Blade. It is. You can't really call it a first-person
That's more of a
shooter.
campaign type thing, though, isn't
No,
it?
no, the
I think?
multiplayer is first-person medieval battles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
I mean, the controls are more in depth than any other Call of Duty you'll play, but if you get a hang of it, it's totally worth it.
You mean like an FPS with the like Oblivion control scheme, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With multiple people running around and hitting each other with dragon shouts. And
Well, maybe not
Sort
Fusra dying, but yeah, I don't know. Just you know, there's so many FPS with guns. I just thought one with bows and arrows would be cool.
I guess I could ask you guys a question. What were your first impressions on the Black Ops 2 trailer?
I
It looks shit.
wasn't too fond of it, actually, at all. I thought I was expecting if it was a Black Ops 2 trailer, it would be like a follow-up to the Black Ops storyline, you know?
Well, the one guy does still exist, but he's in a wheelchair. Forgot his name. I think it was Woods.
The thing about it was like the trailer for Black Ops 2 didn't give any indication how it was relating to the whole Black Ops theme, you know? It was just like
Yeah.
a bunch of random crap all put together. Like it was just a compilation of scenes more than actually giving us an understanding of why there's some sort of, you know, covert feeling to it, like the previous Black Ops.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'd like to maybe lead into, for a second, you know, I think that the best part about the Call of Duty games is the single player.
Yeah, and zombies.
If you-
Yeah, that's one
if
thing
you-
that Treyarch did that was great.
I mean, if you don't, if you don't play for the storyline in the Call of Duty games, then you might want to reevaluate how you play that game.
And Spec Ops is pretty fun too.
Yeah.
I personally feel, as far as the Call of Duty franchise is concerned, that I prefer. This might just be because of the type of person I am, but I prefer the games where you aren't a modern soldier,
Yep.
like the
Yeah,
World War
I
II
can
kind of
understand
era. I understand what they were thinking. You know, the whole genre and that time period has been done to death. But I don't really like the direction they seem to be taking, turning it into. Okay, not quite that far, but you know, where are they going to go next? You know, is it going to be Halo eventually?
they're turning it into a political statement.
I don't know. But yeah. What was the who hasn't answered that question?
I have not.
Lore and Evader. Or have
ahead,
you,
guys.
Lore?
You
Who's gonna go
first,
first?
Vader.
Fight to the death.
No, but simulation, I find that the modding community, as I used to spend a lot of time in simulation and flight simulation. I mean, I had this whole schedule of this bunch of friends who we did online back in 5-6 years ago, where pretty much what we did was we flew around the places every evening, and during that time I could go do something else.
We're talking about a dating simulator now, right?
No, flight simulation.
Okay.
Dating
Yeah,
simulator.
How do you simulate dating? I don't understand that.
Oh, I bet those games exist.
Mm-hmm.
But
they exist. Japan
will.
is a strange place.
Yeah. You'd be surprised on things that you find in Japan. Funky, didn't you have an example for something that you found on the internet that was in Japan?
I don't feel comfortable linking that.
I see. Alright. Alright, so Evader, keep telling me about your dating simulator.
No, it's flight simulation. But like the serious, like there's so much out there for like developing mods. Like the whole flight simulation community is actually, along with trains and all simulations and all that, it's solely based on third-party groups developing mods, such as various planes, trains. They have, I think there's a space
And
simulator,
automobiles, yeah.
car simulator too. Like it's all around that, and the people who actually make it also sell it for a certain price, which is actually it's decently affordable, and there's so much freeware content out there too that you could keep yourself entertained for a long period of time. And the fact that they consistently even do their own third-party graphical updates and edits to the game that make it even more enjoyable, I find that to maybe develop my own, maybe develop it in such a way that modern towards new PC games, so graphical, up to date, and all that.
It's not. Sorry, no. Go ahead, Lo.
Okay, if I'm correct, I believe there's a train simulator on Steam.
Yeah.
That there are so many expansions to it. It's like the most expensive Steam game.
I'm not really into kind of simulator games, but I know that people do really get into them. I've seen screenshots of like people with like 6-screen setups, like to kind of mimic what the view they'd get out of the cockpit, and then they've got like actual playing controls and dials and like paddles and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Some people
you get all the thrill of flying without the risk.
If you crash, you just have to restart, get another plane, crash it again. You can't do that in real life.
But here's the thing: there's add-ons to even make that even more of a difficult or realistic scenario.
I remember when I played Microsoft Flight Simulator 10, I always used to X is
We'll call
10.
it 10. You make me sick.
Yeah, X Roman numeral. Jesus. That you can always have scenarios like 10 minutes into your flight, your your engine would just fall, your engine would stop, or your engine would have a fire, and you would try to control through that. It was simple, but it was hard to control the plane where only one engine was working.
Yeah, that game had missions to it, so there was even a modding community based off of making more difficult scenarios and stuff like that. There was even expansion pack 4 adding more to that.
I think I'd be awesome at a simulator because I was brilliant at Tom Clancy's Hawks.
Hawks is not...
That's a game for noobs.
Ace Combat destroys Hawks. You get out of here, man.
Hey, I flied planes and I shot things.
That's all you need to know. That's all that matters.
Flying planes and taking...
I think I smell a challenge coming up. What's this game called, Aveda? Ace Combat.
It's only console based though.
Oh, is it?
Is there multiplayer? Can you like go one-on-one?
Yeah.
Huh. I think Funky just accepted a challenge.
Okay, we gotta set something up in August when I can film it too.
Okay, do you wanna go ahead and answer as well?
Oh, yeah, sure. I don't know. I'd be shitty at making a game, but I feel that perhaps my favorite genre is like RPGs, like you, Funky. It's just that I prefer not that I prefer JRPGs, but I do like the fact that they have very interesting characters. Like, if that's the strength of a JRPG, I have to say it's in its characters.
Does the J stand for Japanese?
Yes.
Yes. Because, like, I don't know, one of my favorite game series of all time is Suikoden. And it's got 108 recruitable characters. And I really like that whole, you're building a community of people to fight a war type scenario. So I think I'd do something like that, but with a more Eastern RPG, a more Western RPG feel.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the only one I've played is Final Fantasy, so it's not really a big sample, of JRPGs that I've played. But I think, from what other people have said, I definitely prefer more of a Western themed RPG.
Yeah, this I can understand.
Maybe a Western JRPG.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
cowboy.
that's what I'm thinking. Just a Western setting or like a medieval setting, but with the same interesting characters that come along in a JRPG setting.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I guess in
Western RPGs, all the characters are like, "You're bartender number 6."
you're bandit number 262.
Yeah.
Like in Red Dead Redemption, I mean, I love the game. I think I'm still sad that they didn't put it on PC. So from time to time, I always play it on the Xbox with Red Dead Redemption. It isn't. I mean, the people. There's always different people, but it's not just bandits and bartenders. There's Herbert Moon, the shopkeeper, that I always like to shoot.
The fact that you can kill him multiple times world breaks for me.
Yeah, I'm
You can
Herbert
die
Moon.
and then you can go walk into the bar and play poker with him, but he's dead outside.
Or, I mean, it's a little more in depth than just those other Western games where it's just bandit number 200 and bartender, and then there's that bar fight. And I guess what I like about the game is that there's a lot of other things to do than shooting things, like playing poker, and the game that I'm never good at, which is Liar's Dice. I was never good at
I
Liar's
was so good at Liar's Dice after a while.
Have any of you played the Gun series?
Yes, I have.
I think I enjoyed the Gun series. It's kind of an earlier Red Dead Redemption, and I honestly think that to some respect, a lot of ideas were taken from that. It's a really good series on the Xbox 360, Mark. You should check it out. You could probably pick it up really cheap.
I've only ever played the one, though. Is there more than one game?
There's 2, I think, isn't there?
I think no, there's only one. I think there's only Gun, and that's about it. Unless there's another one on a.
Maybe I might be wrong. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was only one. I'm thinking of Call of Juarez, which was a very linear. It's not really like Red Dead Redemption.
I bought Call of Juarez. I did not like that game, and now I'm sad because I sold it back, and I can never get rid of the trophy data just sitting there empty.
Yeah, I don't like trophy data sometimes. I mean, I wish I could delete my trophy data or my achievements for Viva Pinata.
I love that game.
The game was fun, but I'm kind of ashamed to play it now.
It's just like, what are those little keychains you could get, like, back in the 90s with a Tamagotchi?
Yep.
Tamagotchis,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was like the evolution of a Tamagotchi.
I remember they banned Tamagotchis at my elementary school, and the rules were like, okay, you have to leave them in the office, and no, we will not feed them for you.
But will you clean up their poop?
Yeah, exactly.
That was what I never got. Like, I had a Tamagotchi and it was they were sunglasses and they pooped, and I never understood that. Pooping sunglasses. That's the first I've ever. I can't talk today. First I've ever heard of them.
Dude, they banned Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger.
They
Holy,
banned Yu-Gi-Oh?
you couldn't play Yu-Gi-Oh cards at school. Oh man.
Oh, those were the days. Banning playing cards. Now they have to ban guns.
Is this
Yeah.
is this a British thing? Because I used to do this in school. This would give you some insight into how old I am. You guys know, obviously, anyway. I used to play conkers in school. Do you guys know what conkers
what's
is?
a conker?
Clunker?
Conker.
Is it like-
CONKERS.
Is it like marbles or jacks?
No, it's right. Conkers is when a horse chestnut drops a seed, you get a conker, or what we call, like the kids call a conker, which is it's like kind of like it's not an edible thing, but it's kind of like a big nut. And what you do is you drill a hole through said conker and put a shoelace through it with a knot. And they basically, you take it in turns. There's 2 kids, each have their own conkers.
Then you beat each other with it.
No, you have to beat each other's conkers with them. And the first conker to break is the loser. And it used to take.
Sounds that sounds viewer discretion is advised. Like
They don't
parental
really
guidance.
recommend. They don't really approve of it in school anymore because, like, it was kind of serious business, guys. You know, kids used to take their conkers home, and they do all kinds of things to try and harden them, like leaving them in vinegar.
I'm sorry, but Funky, that just sounds conkers is so close to another word.
What? Bonkers. What?
No.
Cock? What?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, they take their conkers home and they harden them. That parental guidance, or is it just me? Probably just me. Go ahead.
Milk is useful.
I'll post a link to conkers. I'm sure there's some videos on YouTube if any of you are that interested. But yeah, I used to play conkers in school.
Conkers drove everyone bonkers.
You know why I realize I've never heard of conkers? Because they don't have horse chestnuts in the tropics.
Oh, I know these things. Yeah. I used to collect them with my dad, and then we used to go to the park and put them in a giant box, and we used to get a slice of cake for that. That was awesome.
Did anybody play dreidel in this school?
No.
No,
Isn't that a
just
Jewish
joking.
toy?
Yeah, I was
It's
just kidding with
Jewish
you.
top.
Dreidel,
I'm
I made
pulling
you
your
out
leg.
of clay.
We
No,
used-
I never played it. Dreidel.
No, I'd never either.
just outside of my school, there's a vicarage. I don't know if that's a regular term. I mean, it's just like the vicar of the church gets a house given to him by the church, and it was on like a really nice bit of land, and out the garden he had the best horse chestnut trees. So we used to go and like volunteer to do stuff just so we could root around in his garden for conkers.
Pretty cool.
No, not really.
Nifty. I guess we're...
I guess we're pretty much done. Does anybody else want to add anything or any questions before we go?
I don't hear anything. Well, let me actually check the chat because we're on a delay.
Yeah, there is like a 30-second delay here.
Is there 30 seconds? I thought it was 3.
No, it varies. Sometimes it's 5 seconds, sometimes it's 30.
That makes me sad.
All depends. All depends. Just to let you guys know, next week we are going to be covering summer vacation for you guys who are still in school. And we're also going to be doing some Draw My Thing as well, I think.
Summer vacation.
Hopefully I'm not wrong on that.
I think we're gonna do it. I'm not sure though.
Cool. Well, unless anybody has anything else to say, thank you for being here tonight, and we'll see you all again next week.
See you guys.
Bye.